I got to give you a break though,
Okay.
sir. So I'm gonna have you take a break. Beth's waiting in the wings. We got the B team pinch hitter coming in. We're gonna have. I'm gonna forever call it. I'm gonna get a shirts made that says B team.
E.T. Yeah. Proud.
I
All
don't
right.
ever mind playing backup and support to you, sir. I will never complain about that.
Oh,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I could
you
definitely
go.
use a break. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good question. Get a little extra
I
fuel
was
in me
thinking
and
about
then
it this morning. I
hit
thought,
the
you know
finish line.
what? When it was a telethon on TV, there were commercials.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
were commercials. There
yeah,
were dancing
yeah,
acts. There
yeah,
were
yeah.
jugglers and
You're trying to
clowns.
tell me Jerry wasn't taking a nap in the back
He
somewhere?
was.
Come on.
He had a whole green room with special snacks and was putting his feet up. And
No
he's
green
got
room.
nothing on you, man. He's
Nothing
got
here,
nothing
man.
on you.
There's a
You're
treadmill on the other side of this camera. That's all I got. And I'm not jumping on that. And then I got a empty basement in the other corner. No one wants to see what's on the other side of the camera. It's
yeah,
not
but you're just.
glorious.
But it's
Not
not even
glorious.
just that. You're going all day. You're managing these conversations, and this is not nothing. The keeping your energy up and switching gears and talking to all these awesome folks. Like
Oh
that's
man,
brain
the people have
training
been
right there.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. All right. Well,
awesome. Well,
you and Beth take it over for a
we're
bit.
gonna take over for a little bit. You go take a little
I'll
break.
jump back.
Beth and I are gonna keep things rolling as we head into the evening hours here. Yeah. So we'll see you back in a little bit, Tim. All right, welcome back, Beth Johnston. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm just listening to you guys all day. It's very addicting, I must say. It's very hard to get other things done when you're listening to all these amazing interviews.
That's what Jamshid said earlier. He's like, kind of haven't gotten any work done all day. I was like, hey, Chief Science Officer, get back to work. We got stuff to do.
Exactly. Right,
No,
right.
This has been a really great day. We have the money's jumped up a little. We're over $18,000.
Very exciting.
Good.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As we get into the evening hours, this is all important. This is when a lot of the money starts to roll in as people are getting off work and they're tuning back in. If you missed anything, I want to invite everybody to go back. It'll live on Facebook, but a little hard to weave your way through 9 solid hours of broadcast. So fear not. We will take this one long video and break it up into smaller chunks. Each different interview will be a different chapter, and we'll put it up on our YouTube channel.
Oh, good, because I missed bits and pieces, and I'd like to go back and there's a few that I really would like to go back and listen to. So thanks
absolutely,
for doing
we'll
that.
break it up by interview and put it on its own playlist, and people can go back and catch up on anything they missed, because I can't imagine missing any of them. They've all been great, and it's such a diverse community of people bringing their different sort of strengths and interests to bear on the work that we do, and it's super exciting.
And it's just so heartfelt for me just to see how many amazing people we have in our community. It's just amazing to see them all, from, the Renees of the world that starts something for, just for women, to the Manettes in the world that sees that just a little bit of money that she's raising is actually going back and doing something really huge and powerful.
Yes.
To how about the Lisa Ackermans at Avidity, who say, the patients, you are the center of everything we do at our organization. Like, just hearing those things, it gets me out of bed every morning, Leigh. I mean, sometimes it's tough. And, June was saying we're on 24/7. And I'll tell you what, just hearing those little nuggets of things that people say, that's what gets me out of bed every day and keeps me going. So this community is just full of rock stars.
And Beth, you've been a part of this community for how long?
A long time. So my husband Jeff was diagnosed in 2001, and I was connected with the society shortly after that, after we moved to New York, and I was connected to some folks there. And so, I've been volunteering. I volunteered for the organization for a very, very long time before I actually came on as staff. So been with it since I feel like the very beginning.
Yeah, long time. And then, so you volunteered, and then you were on the board. And then when did you join as staff? What year was that?
I believe it was 2016.
Okay.
So I think I volunteered for about 15 years before I came on staff.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So June is the staffer that's been around the longest as official staff.
Yes.
But from the people that are currently on staff, you maybe have been around the longest.
Well, that and Dan Perez. Yeah.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yes, of course.
Um,
So, tell me about that? Like, watching it change over the last 15 or so years.
Well, the entire ecosystem, as you've heard over and over and over today, the ecosystem has changed completely. I remember, us trying to figure out what was going on with Jeff, and going to the doctor and finally figuring it out, like after about a year of running tests and then being misdiagnosed with something different, and then finally seeing a neurologist that had actually seen it in a clinic before. He says, "Oh, I know exactly what you have." And he goes, "You have this muscular dystrophy. There's no treatments for it. I would suggest not doing any exercise or anything physical. And we've got nothing for you. So see you next year. Enjoy your life."
Yeah.
And I'm, out to here pregnant with number one, and we're just sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, what does this mean?"
Right.
And then just to see the little, what can I do? So of course I started volunteering. I met a wonderful woman in New York by the name of Judy Seslow. Her and I teamed up and started doing some really creative fundraising for the New York area people. And then while we were doing that, front page of the New York Times one day comes out and says the cause of the disease has been found. We know that it's a gene called DUX4. Game changer. I think that was in 2010. So you see these little inklings, in the ecosystem start to happen, and then you see the research papers more and more start to be published. And then, you see the first clinical trial come out to help benefit, regenerative muscle. And so all of a sudden it just explodes. And to see it go from where we were 20 some odd years ago to where we are today, it's absolutely mind blowing. And I am so confident that my husband and all of the friends that I've met in this journey, and our children and our children's children, will not have to worry about this. Max Adler, he said it perfectly. He goes, "I know the work that you guys are doing, and everyone in this ecosystem, the doctors, the researchers. I know that I'm not going to have to worry about this, and nobody in my family is going to have to worry about this after this, after these coming years and what's coming along in the coming years." So yeah, that's what we've seen. And it's been a crazy ride. It's been amazing. And I'm just happy to have been a part of it, for sure. Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
How are you hanging in there?
I am hanging in there.
7 hours, Leigh.
I know, 7 hours down, 2 more to go. I'm doing great. I mean, ask me tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think I'll sleep well, and I don't know how functional I'll be in tomorrow's meetings, but these days also just really re-energize me, right? I get so much out of bringing in and connecting with and listening to all the different guests. Tim does an amazing job, interviewing everybody and bringing some heart and soul into the conversations. And I love there's this rhythm to nonprofit work, right? Because we start from zero every year, pretty much.
Yeah.
And you work with nonprofit, which I've done for my whole career. I've worked nonprofit organizations, and there's a rhythm to it. You got to you start with nothing pretty much every year, and then you got to raise it all. Now, the FSHD Society is really smart. We raised the money this year that we're going to spend next year. So we're always in a place of security, and that's really great. Not all nonprofits are in that position. Some orgs literally started like zero at the beginning of the year because, which is crazy. I've lived that life.
Right.
But there's this sort of, everybody has that sense of restart and renewal, at the end of the year. But I think because this is the industry I've been in for my entire career, I really feel that. And I always take a little bit of time off at the holidays. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm kind of a Christmas freak. I'm already got one of my 4 Christmas trees up, and I look forward to the breather. But I can't wait for January. Like I can't wait to get going on all of the things that we're talking. Not that there's not work happening now, there is. But a day like today just re-energizes me. Man, we got important stories to tell. We have important work to do. We have important things to fund. We have lives to change, people to impact, voices to raise. And days like today get me very, very excited about it. And so while I'm sort of looking forward to a little bit of breather at the holidays with my friends, I can't wait to hit the ground running, because I just know 2023 is going to be a really big year for us. I know
You've heard it all day long, from all of these pharma companies that are, they're getting ready to launch, they're getting ready 20, and even from Danny Kurtzman, who even said he can feel it in his bones for what he's working on. 2023 is just, it's going to be a game changer, I think, for everybody in our community. So
well, and it's interesting, the little providential things that are happening, so both Danny and Max told the story of how Max sort of fell into this role in the movie, and then the first day on the set, they figure out that Max's connection to FSHD and Danny has FSHD. That was a crazy connection. I saw Madison Ferris on Broadway years before I ever met you guys and got involved and had ever heard of FSHD. I still remember very distinctly her performance and how powerful it was. And then June books her on the show for her first FSHD radio profile show. And I'm like, wait a minute, I was in the audience. I saw her. She's phenomenal. So there's these the universe knits people together, magical things sort of happen, and little points of light come together, and then they shine really brightly. And I feel the points of light coming together. I believe in the power of pushing back against the darkness. I believe that we all can let our light shine and bring, change and positivity and make things happen. And when you do that, when you step into that, the universe comes along with you. And I'm seeing and hearing those little stories, that thread of all that we're doing. I feel it tangibly today. And it is a very humbling thing to be a part of. And
right.
I just can't wait to get to that day when we can be like, oh my gosh, it was approved. The first domino fell, the first therapy was approved, and then the next and the next and the next. I mean, who doesn't want to be a part of that?
Yeah, exactly. We heard from a lot of our volunteer leaders this afternoon, who I couldn't be more proud of and more grateful to. Manette up in our Idaho chapter, we heard from Renee. She volunteers for the Women on Wellness group, and the Wellness Hour as well. Ashley, who, oh my gosh, the rock star who put on this amazing event down in Austin, Texas, Tacos and Tunes. She is just a ball of energy. But she's one of I'm so grateful to her for her volunteership down in Austin. Jack, who just, he's a rock star volunteer, board member, chapter leader. He leads the walk and roll down in Atlanta. And he, travels, how many times a year to go participate in clinical trials. Frank, of course, he actually started out with us working as the chapter director in South Carolina, and is kind of morphed his participation with us to help us with these wellness or these fitness hours that he's doing. We need all sorts of walks of life for volunteers. And I am just so proud and grateful to all of our volunteer leaders. You and I and our team with Anna and Heidi and Kim are all getting ready to put together a really fun agenda. We bring our volunteer leaders together in person every year in Chicago. What a great place. Tim was talking about Chicago with Manette a little bit. But we bring people to the coldest city in the universe in February for 2 days of really intensive training and fun and camaraderie. And so we are really in depth in putting together the agenda for that. So hopefully giving our volunteer leaders, something back, and we need to recharge. We need to keep their batteries charged just as much as our community needs to keep our batteries charged, because they're the ones that are out there. They are the local hands and hearts, because we can't be everywhere, Leigh, and, so we can do something virtually. We try, but we can't. And we really, really count on these volunteer leaders who put their hearts and souls out on their sleeves and are really the face of this society and the face of this, of helping with this disease. So thank you, volunteer leaders. You are my heart and soul. I appreciate you.
I just love all our volunteers so much. And I've met some amazing people from all across, from, sea to shining sea, right? And now in other parts of the globe, other countries. And I love this community. And you're right, we cannot do it alone. So and when it comes to FSHD organizations, yes, we have grown significantly, and we are one of the, if not the largest,
all
FSHD
12 or 13 of us.
But that,
small but mighty.
We are small but mighty in the grand scheme of things. 13 folks is not a lot of people to carry the amount of water that we're trying to carry. And so we literally could not do it without all the volunteers. And we're spread out around the country. We got rid of our offices during COVID, and now we all work virtually. So we spend a lot of time on Zoom, a lot of time on Teams, very collaborative organizations. So none of us work in a vacuum. We all collaborate with each other and work hard to be as strategic and intentional, as possible. But we can't do the local thing.
Right.
When that person in some town somewhere gets diagnosed and reaches out for help and wants to come have a cup of coffee, our chapter leaders are there. When they want to walk in slowly to the community and just get to know a few people, our local chapter leaders are there. When they need to find a doctor in the area that knows what they're dealing with and can help them, they can go to a chapter Facebook page or message the local chapter leader, who will put out a call and say, we found somebody that these people recommend. It is the chapter leaders that are the hands and hearts that knit this whole community together. And we cannot overemphasize the importance of this community and our volunteer leaders that make all of this happen, because that's how we're going to get this done. It's together, and it's that one patient at a time, finding connection, resources, help, and support. That's the game changer. That's the most important thing.
It really is. I have a quick story. Who was I talking to earlier, where it was a woman up in Ontario, and we just started our very first Canadian chapter right outside of Toronto, or actually it's based in Toronto, but we call it the Ontario Canada chapter. And we just started it. We started during COVID, which, was kind of difficult, but a wonderful leader stepped up. Her young daughter was recently diagnosed, and then hence her husband was then diagnosed. And she stepped up and said, I got to do something, just like we've heard time and time again. And since 2020, the community has come forward, and actually Jeff's family lives up there, and his brother stepped up to lead the walk and roll. So he's our fundraising leader up in the Ontario chapter.
And doing a phenomenal job.
Doing a great job, as always. I wouldn't put it past Steve not to do anything but we've got a great group of family and friends that also are helping him do this. But my point is talk about serendipity. We held this fundraiser, and a woman showed up because she had heard about it through a friend, and who she was just friends with. And the friend is saying, hey, you want to come to this fundraiser with me on Saturday? And she's like, well, what's it for? And she goes, well, it's for this muscular dystrophy disease that, some friends of ours are affected. And she's like, what muscular dystrophy disease? And she says, it's called FSHD. And she goes, I have FSHD. And the friend says, I never knew what was up with you, but talk about serendipity. So she brought her to this fundraiser, introduced her to the entire community in the Toronto area, of which she had never seen anyone with FSH outside of her own family. And now within minutes, she's introduced to an entire community of support. And to me, that's just like one of those stories that volunteers are the key to that. If that fundraiser wouldn't have happened, she would have never met the community that she did up there and found the support. So again, I'm just gushing all over our volunteer leaders all over their countries.
Pretty
yes.
It's so phenomenal. I love it so much.
I do too. What was I gonna ask you? I was gonna ask you something. Any way you can share that clip with Danny Kurtzman and the movie that he's filming?
No, I cannot.
Okay, I want to see it so bad.
No, they told me under strict comments, like, we are going to send you a code to get on Vimeo and look at it, but you cannot share it. So I've got a little bit of insider track. Does not hurt to be in charge of the marketing and communications for the organization. Sometimes you get a little perk and a penny. So
I'm really excited for this movie.
I cannot share it. Yeah, they won't let me.
It just sounds so appropriate to the times. It sounds appropriate to what's happening, with our community right now. I cannot wait for this movie to come out.
And not only do we have, I'm going to pull this up too. I got some information in my email I'm going to get. So not only do we have Good Bad Things with Danny Kurtzman coming out in 2023, but our own Amy Beckier has a friend who decided to do a documentary about her. It's called The Reinventor. which if you know anything about Amy, that is a beautiful, perfect name, because
Yeah.
she just nothing slows her down, nothing stops her, and she just reinvents and says, okay, if I can't play golf anymore, I'm going to figure out how to paint. And man, is she a phenomenal painter. And then when she couldn't paint anymore, she's searching for the next thing, but she's thrown everything in with us. She's a great volunteer. But if we have a little bit of time before today's up, I want to run a clip, the little preview of this beautiful film called The Reinventor. It is screening on Monday, December 5th at the Culver City Film Festival in LA. So
Oh, wow.
it's coming out faster than I realized. So this is
Yeah.
like we found out about it, and all of a sudden it's being screened at this, and it, from the clip I've seen, it's beautiful. So that all just creates a buzz and a talk, and I think it's going to be amazing. So I think maybe we'll have to show a little snippet of that preview.
Oh, please
here
do.
before we wrap
Yeah.
up today. So FSHD coming to the big screen, man. And
Big time.
not
Big
one,
screen,
but
big
two.
time. Yeah.
A documentary and a feature film. So everybody
That's
get your
fantastic.
popcorn.
Well, I'm sure people would like to hear from Mel Hayes at Fulcrum far more than they like
Probably.
to hear from Beth Johnston in
Yeah,
Denver.
he's
So.
patiently. I don't know about that. You're pretty much a rock star.
I don't know
with this
about
group.
that.
I think but I do think they want to hear from him, and he's patiently waiting in
Okay.
in the waiting rooms.